What's up, my family? Listen, first-time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up, let's go, no notes.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Slap.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah!
What the f*** are you talking about?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of In This Very Ring, live right here on the A2D Radio, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter pages. I am the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. I am the one they call Ritz. And joining me as he does each and every Friday night, the mayor of Toasty Town. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Butters. What a dick. I hate it here. Wow.
Yeah!
Pete will be along shortly. He's running a little bit behind schedule. But while we wait for him, we want to thank our friends at Allen Z Travel. Allen Z Travel specializes in creating the vacation of your dreams at Disney, Universal, or wherever your heart calls you. Let their talented team of travel experts, including yours truly, create a custom vacation for you without any of the stress. Allen Z on over to allenz-travel.com/take the trip to get in touch with myself or Chuck's or any of the other talented travel agents that we have at Allen Z. We can start planning your next stress-free vacation as early as tonight. Man, you know, I'm a little mad right now. By a little, I mean a lot of mad.
Why are you mad?
Because I had a fantastic show planned for us tonight.
You sure about that?
It's a great show. It was a great show. We were going to do fantasy booking. There was not going to be really any rules. We could do whatever we wanted with it, have some fun. And then Dwayne happened. And then Dwayne is The Rock. The Rock decided that he was going to show up on the Pat McAfee Show this morning from Boulder, Colorado, the site of tomorrow's College Game Day, which he will be the special guest picker, which is a weird thing to say. Don't ask.
I just did.
Anyway, and then Mr. McAfee and Dwayne decided to head on down to Denver, Colorado, the site of tonight's Smackdown. And if I had forward thinking at, 2 o'clock when it was said, hey, The Rock was on McAfee's show and talked about Roman at WrestleMania, I would have said, oh, maybe he's going to be at Smackdown. Had I known Smackdown was going to be in Denver. But before we continue, the OGP is in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, our co-host and the host, well, one of the co-hosts of Birds of a Feather. It is the one, the only, Pete Evans.
Greetings and salutations.
What is going on, my friend? How are you?
Man, what a great show. Started early in the day. Never would I thought I would mark out like that today. But I did. I'm not ashamed to admit it. So
we're gonna get all into it and break it all down. Yeah, we're gonna break it all down. But first, it brings us to our topic of conversation. Our topic of conversation is brought to you by our friends at Royal Billiard. Check out Royal Billiard and Recreation, the coolest place for all your game room and man cave needs. For the last 41 years, this family-owned business has been the premier game room store of the Delaware Valley. Stocked with the very best in pool tables, accessories, shuffleboards, card tables, dart supplies, bar stools, and more, they turn any ordinary room into an extraordinary gaming experience. Did we mention they have hot tubs? Stop by Royal Billiard, located at 515 Bethlehem Pike in Colmar, Pennsylvania, or on the web at royalbilliard.com for everything fun in your home or office. Our topic of conversation, The Rock will face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 but not for the title. And it plays off of Dynasty's comment right here. Kind of spoiled if you watched McAfee today. I don't know if he's referring to The Rock being on Smackdown or our topic of conversation. The reason I went with but not for the title was because, again, after his interview with McAfee today, he alludes that, WrestleMania is coming up in Philly because they talked about how he was supposed to fight Roman at WrestleMania this past year at SoFi Stadium. And they ultimately couldn't come up with a plan of what to do, how to do something that nobody had ever seen before. And so in that interview, we're going to break down the interview and everything of that nature. He talks about how WrestleMania is coming up in Philly. And McAfee, as the fan that he is, says, "So what are you trying to say?" And The Rock just smiles and he goads him a little bit. And then, obviously, fast forward several hours, The Rock is on Smackdown tonight, kicks things off with Pat McAfee and Austin Theory. But it brings up the question, will this match happen at WrestleMania 40? But it's not for the title. Butters, I'm going to start with you.
Yes. What's wrong, Pete?
Yeah, it's been that kind of day.
No, I'm going to agree to the poll. I do believe it's going to be Rock Roman at 40 and not for the title. I mean, you don't need the title. You said it 1,000 times over, 1,000,000 times over. I think, especially if this strike keeps dragging on, Rock needs something to do.
It's very, very true.
And, you can get very creative between now and then.
Yeah, but if you go back and you listen to The Rock on McAfee Show, and if you haven't, it's on McAfee in its entirety. It's on McAfee's YouTube channel. It's a 50-minute segment. He's on for the whole, I think, first hour that they're on ESPN. It's great. The whole thing is great. 36 minutes of it's ESPN. The last 14, it's the YouTube stuff, so it's uncensored. It's hysterical. You need to definitely go watch it, just like Chrome says up here. What a fucking surprise tonight. Dwayne's interview with McAfee today is a must-see, and it really is. And we're gonna, like I said, we're going to break it all down. But he mentions how if he's going to do something long-term, it needs to be something that nobody's ever seen before. And he looks at WrestleMania as not the ending, but the beginning of something bigger. So now I'll throw it over to you, Mr. Evans. What do you think?
That's where I agree to the poll. And I'm surprised I'm seeing a lot of disagrees. Like, here's the thing, man. Roman has elevated the title beyond the title. Roman versus Rock, bloodline storyline, tribal chief on the line, whatever you want to call it. That's bigger than any piece of leather and gold that you can put in front of you, right? You don't need that to sell. And I hearken back to, I forget the WrestleMania number, but the very first Rock Cena matchup at WrestleMania, that was non-title.
28.
What was it? 28?
28. Because The Rock was the host of 27. They headlined the next night. They came out and set the match for 28. The following year, Rock was a champion at 29.
Exactly. So that's where you could almost follow the same game plan that you followed then. Obviously, it's a little bit different. It's bigger, and it's more present. Obviously, that's where I think you can go because, like Frank said, he said it stinks for Cody. That's where like you can't get lost in that shuffle, and this is where I think Triple H has a different viewpoint on it than Vince did, right? It's from the standpoint of Triple H knows he needs to keep his other players in the loop. And now with WrestleMania being 2 nights, there is a way that you can get there to where Cody can still have his night, similar to what Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens had their night and had their moment. And then the following night, who's not going to want to come back and see that? Like, there's not anyone right now in the chat where you're going to say you're not going to watch Rock versus Roman if the title's not on the line. Who's going to say that? Who's going to say that? Who's going to put their hands up? It's like, would you not watch the Rock versus Roman if it's not for a title? Who's going to put their hands up and say yes to that? In a crowded room full of people. Exactly.
Exactly.
So, like, just don't do it to do it, right? Make it make sense. And they have enough time. And this is where I say, like, a lot of people wanted to see The Rock come out tonight to save Cena at the end. Too soon for that. That now you talk about Captain Obvious. I didn't even put it two and two together that SmackDown was in Denver. McAfee Show. I did not draw those. Did not draw those lines. Did not connect those dots. Him coming out tonight to save Cena, way too much, too soon, especially after his comments. So now you can slow bleed that to where ultimately we saw what happened at last year's Rumble. That when have we ever seen, honestly, a championship match headline a Rumble where the Rumble is not the main event? It happens very, very, very rarely. But when the story is big enough and you can tell enough drama, you can do that. You can kind of get to this point here. Now, if anybody who I think it sucks for, it really sucks for Priest, because ultimately now you could do a way to where you could have Priest now be the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, whatever they want to call it, right? He's just going to be a bridge champion to Cody. But now you have so many different ways till you can get Cody to that spot where he doesn't have to win the Rumble. Because I already told you this 6 months ago. I think the Rumble winner, I wouldn't even say, I would have said it, pencil it in for Gunther right now, but now they're talking Gunther versus Brock. That's another match that doesn't need a title, obviously, right? So I don't know who, you have so many different ways you can go with that. Maybe it's LA Knight, whatever, what have you, right? But that's why you have so many different cards at play, right? In this deck that you have. Don't limit yourself to what you can do to sacrifice others' momentum because you feel as if you need a strap. This doesn't need a strap. What was, I mean, Jay and Roman at SummerSlam, that was the titles, but remember when they did the promo for that, it was the red leg. That's what was on the table.
Yeah, and the title wasn't even up for grabs. Like, at least nobody realized the title was up for grabs.
Exactly.
Until that weekend, and really the night of. And Pete, you touched on a lot of very, very important things there. And one of the things was, don't just do it to do it. Right? And The Rock said that in his thing. He wants to do something bigger. He wants it to be more elevated. And you've taken, and it wasn't in our chat, like, because we have an A2D on-air wrestling chat. I have another chat with Jackson Silent Hill, and we were talking about it earlier today, about how Roman, yes, has transcended the title. So subsequently, he doesn't need the title anymore.
Nope.
It's now time for Roman. If there was ever a time now than ever for Roman to lose the title, it's within the next 6 months to start that build. Because the build for Rock Roman doesn't need much.
No.
And why you not have Rock come out and save Cena tonight? Not because he's getting attacked by Grayson Waller. No, it's because he was getting attacked by Grayson Waller and Jimmy Uso. And so far, for the last 3 years, and all the little Rock appearances or whatever, they've done a really good job of separating The Rock from Roman, The Rock from the bloodline. You have The Rock come out and put his hands on Jimmy in this moment, right now in September. It's way too early.
Way too early.
And you can't slow build that long enough. Now, you could, to Butter's point, you could slow build that if there were movies being made. If The Rock, and we all knew if The Rock had something more to do. Love the guy, but right now he's a bum.
I mean, he's an $800 million bum. That's
exactly no, 100%. But in comparison to what we know The Rock's schedule is usually like, how busy he is,
it's slowed down a lot.
The dude's literally sitting there making donuts and cupcakes with the girls on a Monday morning for the fun of it.
Hence why Cena's there every Friday now.
Yeah, hence, to Butter's point, what you said before he came on the air. Hence why Cena has come back. I agree. And if you've been watching this program for, I don't know, the last 1,000 days, I've been saying this from the get-go of this bloodline storyline. Whenever it comes down to Roman Rock, if they do it right, if they build Roman into that monster, dominant mafia force that we now have, it doesn't need the title because The Rock doesn't need to fight for the title anymore.
Nope.
Right? The Rock is lit. Like, did anybody hear the pop that this man got? It shook everything. It made grown men stand from their chairs in their living rooms and shout to the rooftops. There's not many people that can solicit that response. I said grown men. That can solicit that response out of people anymore. The Rock is very, very high up on that list. And that too. And to take it a step further, you look at WrestleMania as being 2 nights. Yeah, you already have high ticket sales, everything of that nature. But what was the biggest thing that we had a problem with this past year? That we felt like if they didn't give us the Sami KO win on night one was going to fall flat on its face in comparison to night 2. Now, and I'm literally grabbing bits and pieces from both of you and stringing them all together. Now, if you have Cody have his moment at WrestleMania, whether it's against Damian or Seth or LA Knight or whoever, to capture the title. Because realistically, does Cody need to capture it at WrestleMania? That's another question for another time. Right? But Cody at WrestleMania in the main event is what people want to see.
Yep.
So you put that on night 1 and you give the people what they want. And then you go to night 2 knowing that we have arguably the biggest WrestleMania match since Rock and Hogan at 18.
But you didn't know Rock and Hogan was the biggest WrestleMania match at 18. Now you do. But on that card, you didn't.
But everybody thought. I mean, let's be real. Everybody thought. No, I don't think anybody thought the crowd would react.
Right. The way
and
they
make the changes that they made. But it was a huge match. It was a passing of the torch match. And to Spellman's note right here, The Rock will face Reigns at WrestleMania. It's the final chapter. Reigns wins. I've been saying that as well. If you want to solidify the passing of the torch for the Samoan dynasty, if you want to solidify, where was it? Dynasty saying, I'm watching regardless because it's The Rock's match. That would literally be the last thing The Rock would ever have to do in the WWE. Put his cousin over. He can walk away, never have to step in a ring again. Nobody would ever ask him to.
Right.
Because he's done it all at that point. He's beaten everybody, gone against everybody. And then the next year, he's inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Now, the only caveat to that is and you brought it up earlier, is when he said we want it to be the beginning of something, which makes me think, once again, that I think it is going to be not just this one match. I think Roman may go over, or you may even have Rock go over, and then we may see it again at 41, or you may see it at SummerSlam next year. Because remember, he said the beginning of something.
Right, but does that mean the beginning of something that he's involved with throughout its run?
That's the other thing too. And you said something too, like the bloodline, right? And how they keep everything distance. This is what people really like. Our fans probably, and the fan probably knows, but if you're a casual here, first thing to do, hit that like, hit that subscribe, social, all platforms, A2D Radio. They view, when it comes to Jimmy J, Roman, Nia somewhat as well. I mean, we could talk about Solo, Umaga's son, Tama Tonga, Tonga Kid's son. I forget his name right now. Jacob Fatu is out there. Those dudes are like first, second cousins. First or second. The Rock is way down that list when it comes to how they're related. He's a distant cousin.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that I don't know what it is behind closed doors, but there's some that really don't view him as part of the inner circle, AEW reference there, of Samoa. Honestly, and that's all well and good, but that story, what you just said, that story plays itself. Because Roman can come like, I've been here, I've done this, I've had a reign that you have never had, albeit where The Rock was the man and the hardest time in wrestling. Honestly, in my opinion, that era of wrestling, whatever you want to call it, wrestling, sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it, that was the most competitive time because you had alpha males. Go ahead.
Roman would not have survived.
Oh, no.
Because you think about, that was during, The Rock came up during a time where it wasn't uncommon for there to be a WWE championship match on a Monday Night Raw.
Right.
And the champion to lose the title. Now that's unheard of. Now if that happens, somebody
he lost it on Sunday Night Heat.
Wow. Right? Like, you were defending the title more often. And that's a problem with Roman. And if you look back and you look at some people's title reigns, I don't quantify it so much as how many days were you champion.
It's who you beat.
It's how many times have you defended the title, right? Because it's all well and good. We've got people breaking records left and right, it seems. You know, between Gunther and Roman and throw in somebody else beat a fucking record earlier this year. Was it Bianca?
Yeah.
Yeah. You got all these people breaking records, which is great. But Roman can't say he's like Gunther or even Bianca in the sense of how many times he's defended it this year. How many premium live events, and I don't mean to cut you off, but how many premium live events has there been no Roman sighting?
Quite a few, at least half.
It feels like every other, every third. But see, here's the thing. Roman at this point is a big attraction. That's a big attraction title. So where they have to find a way to transition that to not bring.
But is it? And this is maybe a question for the chat when I follow up with this, right? Is it still a big attraction title when every time Roman is defending the title against Cody, Edge, Balor, Jimmy, Bob, Bill, Frank, Jeff, James, whoever, right? He doesn't lose.
The title is like an afterthought right now because the story's bigger than the title.
But that's true, but that's still the main attraction title because if you're not saying it is, that means you're saying Seth's title means more, which we all know it doesn't.
But here's why I will say Seth's title does mean more.
Okay, I want to hear this. Go ahead.
Because Seth is a fighting champion. I don't say
But who do you want to see lose more, Seth or Roman?
Well, at this point, I don't think Roman's ever going to lose the fucking title.
That's not what I asked you. Who's it when they drop and their shoulders get counted for 3? Whoever wins that title off of Seth or Roman, who means what loss means more?
No bullshit. Right now on September 15th, 2023. Sorry, I went back 10 years. Jesus. That's a horrible thing for me.
You're too young. You're too young to do that.
But Seth. And here's
we all
why.
know Seth's losing to Nakamura.
But hold on. Here's why. Because as soon as Seth drops the title, Damian cashes in.
That's what I'm telling you. The swerve is he's not going to cash. If Trips was smart, that cash in should not go to Seth. Because if you cash in on Roman, that's the perfect way because it doesn't hurt him at all. You cash in on Roman. You get the pin. It's a bridge champ to Cody, and you have Rock.
I disagree.
You have Rock costing the match. You have Rock. Whatever happens.
First of all, I don't see the Rock costing anybody the match. No. Okay. Right? Pick somebody else, maybe. Fine, okay. I'll give you somebody. Okay, not the Rock. But after you've solidified Roman as this dominant figure, because let's be real, right?
Mhm.
The character of Roman Reigns, the aura of Roman Reigns right now is nobody can touch him. He's unbeatable. If you bring in Damian Priest with the briefcase, while yes, he may get a fantastic pop for cashing in and finally being the one to beat Roman, you said it yourself. Every smart wrestling fan knows, well, he's just holding it for Cody.
In a
right?
way, but we also know that we also feel that way.
No. Because if he does win that title, now you build that Damian Finn Balor story that you've got me invested in this.
I think that's gone now, though. I think that's, and I'm gonna tell you why. The reason why I think they transitioned from that, right? And if they didn't have Priest cash in, you would still think Roman's a lame duck to lose to Cody anyway at WrestleMania 40. They're not doing that 2 years in a row. Here's the other reason why I think you intertwine the Judgment Day with the Bloodline. We've already
doing.
Exactly. And what's the only other faction? If they all swarm in the ring, whatever at Royal Rumble, whatever it is, around Roman, they can take out Solo, because it's going to be at that point. I think JD's officially in. It's 5-on-2, because technically right now Jimmy is out. He'll be there, but then at that point it's 5-on-3, and you might as well count Rhea. She a whole dude. She just as strong as them.
But here's why I think they're starting to lay the groundwork for this Judgment Day versus Bloodline kind of interaction, right? Survivor Series. Survivor Series is coming up. I could see them going the War Games route again with Survivor Series and not so much the traditional 5-on-5. I see them taking War Games and running with it. Okay? So that's where I see that. But the underlying factor with a Judgment Day is JD McDonough. Right? JD in this, I'm not 100% convinced we've transitioned. So that's why I think you let Damian cash in on Nakamura.
Okay.
Because let's be honest, Nakamura as a heel of live promos and this, that, and the other thing doesn't work for anybody.
Live, no. The recorded,
his vignettes are great, but you can't be a champion on just vignettes alone.
Well, no. You could build the character, but right, that's why.
So I think if anybody's a transitional champion, Nakamura.
But then we also go back to this point, right? We keep hitting this point, and this will bring Cody back into it. Finish the story. We all know that World Heavyweight Championship is a play off the big gold belt. His dad had that. So if to me, this is my thing, and I'll say this right now. If Cody isn't winning Roman strap by any means necessary, how he does it, I don't want him to win shit. I don't want to see any title, any WWE title on him until it's that one. Because anything else, I'm not going to accept, because it doesn't make sense. Because you're not finishing the story of nothing. You're just continuation.
I see where you're going with that.
He wants to hold the title as dead, never held.
Right, but I think that's where you're missing Pete's point. Right? If you really wanted to be that guy, right, you could say exactly what Pete's saying. The WWE World Heavyweight Championship is a derivative of the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yes.
Well, technically it is because it holds the same lineage.
Right, so let me finish. I.e. the big gold belt.
Right.
Which Dusty held.
Yes.
And what did you say when you started your sentence? He wants to hold the title his dad never held.
But he agrees with me.
Do you agree with Pete?
Because I'm saying he doesn't want that belt.
Right. He would go after Cody's belt. I mean, Roman's belt.
Yeah.
Okay. See, and that's where, like, sitting here and looking at your face, I'm like, you are not on his wavelength. You think you are? No.
No.
I want to hit a couple comments because we've been at this for about half an hour. we've ignored these guys to some extent.
Yeah.
So I want to hit a couple of things real quickly. L'Shana Tova, it is Jewish New Year, so Happy New Year to all of my Jewish friends, family, our viewers.
How do you say that word? L'Shana? L'Shana Tova?
L'Shana Tova.
Okay.
And technically he spelled Tova wrong, but I'll give it to him. Your co-host, Jake Friel. What's up, boys? I'm going to agree to the poll. We already did that. Don Don's in the chat. What's up, Don Don? Brian Daly was here from Hockey Happy Hour. We've talked about Spellman's comment, some of Spellman's comments. The Godfather, Tom Arnone, he agrees to the poll as he rightfully should. Shinsuke would benefit greatly with a mouthpiece like Mr. Fuji back in the day. I agree with this, and I think this is Dead Slayer. I think is how you say that.
There's somebody right now they haven't been using. I think Shinsuke will be perfect with, and you don't think who, and he would have muscle and a mouthpiece as the champion, huh?
MVP
and almost is the muscle.
I could see that. It would be such a weird pairing, though.
It would, but it's just almost being a big burly muscle. Knock is the champ. MVP is the mouthpiece.
Yeah. Before we get back into it, I want to pay some more bills real quickly. So we want to thank Hats.com. In 2018, Eagles legend Brian Dawkins was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. To commemorate this moment, B-Donk designed and launched an exclusive collaboration with Bowman Hat Company, America's oldest hat maker, on Hats.com. Brian's love for hats and the Eagles were on proud display in Canton, and now you can find yourself in that same iconic Hall of Fame fedora. Just go to Hats.com and search Brian Dawkins and use the code Philly for 15% off your order. Which, by the way, Brian Dawkins, I can't believe I'm actually going to say this out loud. This is so surreal.
I can say they need to know. If they don't know.
Every other Thursday, NFL Hall of Famer Brian Dawkins
that sounds so weird.
Is on A2D radio program with Irving Fryer and Hollis Thomas. I watched it not this past week, but the week before. It was his first episode. I shed a tear. One little backstory. It's my mom's favorite player.
Okay.
Like any Eagles picture you saw of my mom, she had a Brian Dawkins jersey on. That was her guy, right? Akers, she had a different affair with, but that was her guy, right? And so to see him at this time and everything, but then like you think about all the hard work that everybody here at HD Radio has put in to get to this point.
Mm-hmm.
From Tom to Frank to Ralph to Ryan to Jake to me to you guys to Chrome to Sweeps, Wilson, Brinkman, Brad, the Hockey Happy Hour crew, even the boys at Rivals, Marcus, everybody. I know I left some people out, but I'm not listening to everybody. Right? Everything that we've done leading up to now, it's incredible. So we thank Hats.com, we thank Brian Dawkins, and we pat ourselves on the back just a little bit. All right, so back to The Rock and Reigns at WrestleMania.
Uh-huh. What's up, Marcus? You talked Marcus right up.
Huh?
You talked Marcus right up.
Hey, there he is. Marcus is here. And sidebar, I don't know if the video made it to social, but did you see the video he made in our WhatsApp group?
He laid the Smackdown. Honestly, he did.
Beautiful. So let me take this one step further, right? We know it's not. We all kind of agree it's not going to be for the title. Well, you think it's going to be for the title?
No.
No, you disagree to the poll.
No, I agree to the poll.
Okay.
You're out your goddamn mind.
I think Roman would drop it at WrestleMania. I mean, at Royal Rumble.
Now, I did have this working in my mind as well to throw a clog in it because I definitely think it murks the water a little bit, but
years.
It muddies the water is the word I'm looking for.
There you go.
It muddies the water a little bit. But because of the stature, right? Because of the stature that we have, and I'm not saying this is the same as WrestleMania 30, but the stature of Roman and of The Rock, right? Yeah.
Marcus, I love you. You're the gift that keeps on giving.
They are cousins. Yes, they are.
I love this man so much.
They are familiar. But because of Rock's here, Roman's here, what does Cody have to do with that, right? Cody, this is the thing I'm thinking of, right? Triple threat. And you can't, if you talk about making Cody an underdog, you talk about now,
no, it doesn't fit.
But hold up. I know it does. This is what I'm saying. Follow me here. Dusty and the Samoans was tight. They were super tight. Dusty and the Samoans were. I'm not saying I would go that route. I would prefer to go a different route. But if all else fails, if you're trying to make Cody that next guy in that face, what's better than beating Roman straight up, or beat out of those three, you have Cody come out with the title.
You can still get to Cody Roman without involving The Rock.
Okay.
Because Adam Pearce said that SmackDown acquired somebody.
Yeah, then you just don't know who it is yet.
It's going to be Cody.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to happen because Heyman called what's his name? Called Roman tonight. I think we get an announcement that Roman Reigns is back on SmackDown within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And that's when Cody comes out and announces himself the newest member of SmackDown. So now he's back to being a problem for Roman. Now you build this. You're there, right? You can build again to Royal Rumble. After the Royal Rumble, that following... God, shucks, I love you too. After the Royal Rumble, you have Roman come out and still try to tout being the head of the table, the tribal chief, and everything like that. And that's when it's revealed that the elder that that Jay was talking to was really The Rock. Because you said it earlier, you said it in the first segment of the show, where all these guys are a lot closer in relation, whether they're brothers or direct cousins or this, that, and the other thing. The Rock is kind of out there on his own. He's very far on the family tree from these guys. But that would make the most sense for him to be the elder, because while, yes, you had the Wild Samoans, you had Yokozuna, you had Umaga, you had Rikishi. Out of all those people, who's the biggest name? The Rock. He's bigger than his granddaddy.
Oh, yeah,
he's bigger than his daddy. And he paved the way for everybody now to have a lineage to build on. Whether they wanted to or not, they had a lineage. And so The Rock can say, well, I've been the elder. I don't need to be the tribal chief. But since you don't hold the gold anymore, in order to be the tribal chief, you need to beat me.
But then doesn't that harken back to, like, okay, if you so-called tribal chief, where your ass been at the last 3 years?
But he's not the tribal chief.
But I understand. But if you felt, so you're saying The Rock can say, well, no, I was cool standing by because you still had the title. Now you don't have the title, and you don't have your family around. What chief disavows their family? What chief turns their back on their family?
Exactly.
What chief becomes bigger than the tribe? I'm writing this shit.
and to take that one step further, right? Alpha and Sika anointed Roman as the head of the table, as a tribal chief 3 years ago. And you could play it as there's a tribal, an elders council. But The Rock is the head elder, or whatever would be the correct phrase there in all of that.
See, here's the thing with that, though. I don't think he would ever do that or agree to that, because that's not how they do it in real life. Then that's the one thing they try to be very transparent with, is how they handle business with this whole tribal chief thing is how they would do it if there was no cameras around, there was no square circle. It sounds great.
But I don't know. I'm sure there's something. There's some kind of
Right.
elder council or whatever the case may be, however that looks. I don't know enough of the
Right.
culture and the heritage to properly speak on it. So, however that would translate into truth, great. But
He would need a backer. He would need somebody older than him he can make that claim, but an elder would have to then say, I support this claim. And maybe that may be Rikishi. And you only need that for one night. And then they could take whatever the program is going to be.
oh my God, no. I've got one better for you.
Who's that?
His fucking mom.
Yeah? What? Yeah.
Married to High Chief Peter Maivia. She's been around. It's not a secret. She's the third most recognizable face in the Samoan dynasty. Right? That way, if you want someone older than The Rock and everything like that to kind of back this, it'd be The Rock's fucking mother. But then, to Pete's point, and Dead Slayer's comment here, don't know if you guys knew about this. Remember the Rikishi leak at Payback or Fastlane, then it got scrapped, maybe because of the leak during Rikishi's signing session. You could very easily have Rikishi come out and say, yeah, he lost the title, but I still recognize him as the tribal chief. Afa and Sika come out, we still recognize him as the tribal chief. Right? The Rock is in the ring. I don't recognize him as a tribal chief.
Right.
And neither does she. And points at his mom.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to say anything. You have to get in the ring. You have to be involved. And she just shakes her head no. Or they point to her. Do you recognize him as your tribal chief? She shakes her head no. Points to the ramp. If you smell, out comes The Rock. And they don't even have, they just have to stare at each other. It's Triple H, Undertaker for WrestleMania 27.
Mm-hmm.
When they stared at the WrestleMania signing, that was the match setup. So look, there's a million different ways we can get there. There's a million different types of stories that can be told. Right? Spellman's got a good one. Cena's already beefing with the Usos, runs to Rumble. Cena beats them all to win the Rumble. Cena versus Reigns. Rock guest referee. Cena came back to be in shape for WrestleMania Rock as well. I thought he had a good one. It started out really good.
There was another one too. I think I don't know if it was him or Dead Slayer said another Cena because he said Flair wants Cena to beat his record. This one, yeah. I just no.
But so I was talking about Rock beating Flair's record. Personally, as long as Cena's in decent shape, you don't do this until Flair dies.
Yeah.
No, you do it. No, you do it while he's alive. You have Flair presenting with that title.
Here's why I say that though. I like where you're going with that, and that was the counter argument that my buddy at work had. My point being is, what does Flair brand himself as? The 16-time world heavyweight champion, the only person.
And that only stands because, like you said, the only 16-time world champion.
Yeah, now granted, Cena's at 16 as well, but everybody could turn around and say, well, really, Ric Flair's a 21-time world champion. 5 of them just aren't really recognized. It's in the DVD, his original documentary.
Right.
From right around the time he retired. It was on a shirt that right around the time he retired. So he's the only person. He's the first person to do it. Cena's the second, but Cena has other accolades to bank off of. You would kill everything about what makes Flair special from a branding. So if Triple H and Ric Flair are close, don't ruin what's making me money right now.
Right.
You ain't paying me. I got to make money somehow.
And that's also where I think this comes into it. And I know Rock talked about it in the interview. We said it was penciled in for so far. What just happened on Thursday? TKO Holdings became official.
Yep.
They want that return on investment. And you need something big for it to happen. I'm not saying if you need an extra motivation, like I said, Rock is already worth $800 million. I know he loves his business, but at the same time, he wants to do it for a paycheck, right? And Vince wasn't in a position last year. Probably, I'm not saying Vince gave him a low ball offer, whatever, but he was in a position to sell the company. Now, at this point, TK Holdings, Endeavor, and all them, they want to get this money back. You know what I mean?
So before we get to Don, I put it up there so I don't want to forget it. Because it's a great question, Don.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fantastic question. If you go back to the McAfee interview today, McAfee's asked him, and I don't know if it's on the ESPN side or if it's not, but he goes, "Did you think Vince would ever sell the company?" And
I didn't see this clip. It
Rock takes a beat, and you can almost be like, "Well, it almost gives some fluidity to the fact that maybe there was a conversation of Rock coming in as an owner or a partner with somebody to buy it." Because that was kind of the vibe you got with that. Because he dances around the question for a minute, and then he goes, "No, I never thought he would." But I don't think Vince, because Vince is a big picture guy, right? I think Vince intentionally said, "No, I don't have anything for you," so that he could hold it off till the merger was done or the sale was done. Right? You could tell him, "Hey, I got this in the pipeline for you. Don't worry, you'll be fine. You'll make your return on your investment."
Right.
Right. So with this, Don wants to know, and by the way, we're so glad to have Don back.
Yes.
Don says, "Y'all got so many ideas. What's the one possible outcome you don't want to see?" Pete, I'm going to start with you.
I don't want to see. If they do it, I don't want to see a non-finish.
Good night, Sean.
You know what I mean? Night, Sean.
Yeah, I can see that. Actually, you know what? Pause on that.
Mm-hmm.
Pause on that. We got to run this before I totally forget. So let me pull off Don's comment for a second. We're gonna start the next segment with this, but let's run this. We'll be right back. This is a quick commercial from our friends at Royal Billiard. Be right back.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
and fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
All right, so this we'll give this entire segment, because it's really what it's turned into, right? To Royal Billiards. Boom. Let's hit it with that, and bring Don's comment back up. Nope, not that one. This one. All right, so you said non-finish.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I just don't want to see a non-finish. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I don't want to see a non-finish because I can't. The two in the ring together, and how underrated Roman is as a worker, and how he could take care of The Rock, even though The Rock is 51 years old, but he's obviously physically that body strength and then functional strength is two different things.
Right.
Like the functional strength. Like he said, in WrestleMania 28 or 29, the 29. One with Cena, where he tore his abdomen. The bitch was just he was too big. He wasn't functional.
Right.
You know what I mean? He wasn't functionally strong. So something like that, just off. And I mean, creative wise, it's hard for me to say right now what I don't want to see because we just got an interview and a walkout. No interaction tonight with the bloodline whatsoever. So it's so.
Here, I'll tell you.
I mean?
I don't want to see them not do it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right? Like if you, And granted, The Rock's probably operating a lot on his own with that interview today with McAfee.
Mm-hmm.
But this couldn't have been a bigger thing. And then given that The Rock's on College Game Day tomorrow, right? And they're just up the road in Boulder, Colorado.
Yep.
What's to say that something doesn't happen up there to kind of fuel the fire a little bit more? Because the place was eating up the fact that The Rock was there. They were eating up The Rock, not Dwayne. Very important to note that, right? So I don't want to see them shy away from this because I've been clamoring for Rock Roman for so long. And for them to not do it would be such a missed opportunity.
Yeah, and it's like you can do it and still there's people in front of Roman right now that can still make him stronger. And especially now because you don't have Jay there to cost some matches. They like they said, the plan is for him to start winning matches clean. I already heard it's going to be AJ at some point. I can already tell you who I think they should put him at Rumble, and it may hurt his push, but it may not. But him versus LA Knight by Rumble at the Rumble as a title match. Obviously, Roman's still going over. I mean, I don't think that hurts Knight that much at that point. But especially, you only do that if you're getting to The Rock at the end. So I'm like you, like if I just don't want to see him not do it at this point. Like it has, like I'm almost to the point like it has to happen. Like I don't care who wins, who does what, how we get there. I just want to see it. What say you, Butters? To Don's question.
I don't want them.
And the mellow yellow shorts or pants. I don't know what color yellow you got on.
They are bright lime green.
He walked in and I went, holy green Batman.
They're neon yellow, neon green shorts. Leave me the hell alone.
Anywho.
I don't want to see them keep their title in Roman just to beat Hogan's record.
That's a good point.
We need to get you another mic. We need 2 mics.
We're working on that. I have them. I'm just lazy.
So, Butters, speaking to the mic, I didn't hear you.
I said I don't want to see them keep the belt on Roman just to beat Hogan's record because that's coming up like mid to late next year.
Are you talking about the 80 when he won it and then he didn't lose it until the bullshit Saturday Night Main Event?
Yes,
that one? What's that? It was like 3.5 years?
The next record for Roman to beat is Hogan, and then it would be Bruno would be the final one.
I would be so
Roman
mad.
is now in 3rd place for the record holder.
Because here's the fine line that they toe by doing that, right? And I think I can speak for all of us here in agreement to where this right now is kind of a sweet spot, right? For you to lose it. 3 years is long enough. If you keep pushing that, you already aren't visible as a champion. I'm still saying like that's still the main title. You guys are already saying that's not the main title. So I'm just a little bit more aware on that is. But even for me, if it continues to go, then that title means nothing by the time he loses it.
I mean, this isn't the territory days where you don't see a title match or a match, with that person for months and weeks at a time. You're seeing this guy on TV constantly.
Well, and it's a good point, right? Like, we're just gonna do this for a while.
Martian said that shit.
I saw it. I ignored it.
I can't. I was not gonna say it. It's funny, but God.
Anywho.
Damn you, Martian.
But if you do this, and if you let Roman beat Hogan's record, you're essentially wiping away history, and you're making it very intentional, right? When Hogan did it at that time, other than San Martino, Hogan doing it was unprecedented, and nobody had ever come close. Right. To your point, it loses because of the internet now, because of the fact that we can track these things, because of the fact that I can jump on Twitter right now and know what people are doing. Right? It would lose it for me. A long title reign doesn't work in today's day and age, mostly because we live in an era of instant gratification. The reason why this has worked so much is because they've done a great job of building the fact that, hey, you know what? Cody could win. Hey, you know what? Sammy could win. Hey, you know what? Finn could win. Hey, you know what? Brock could win. Hey, you know what? Insert name here could win. They did a great job of that with every story Roman was in.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that much longer because you're running out of fucking people to beat.
Now, to Dead Slayer's comment, the most recent one. This is to your point too, and this is where I say it's different with the internet. It's good and it's bad. You have to go find that, right? To go find him to beat Hogan's record.
Yeah.
There's a good majority of the WWE universe who are now diehard fans who've never seen that fucking reign Hogan had. They're only living it through Twitter. They don't know what that was like. I know what that because I'm just that old, right? But
I wasn't gonna say it.
Whatever. But what I say that to say this is because to them, this is that Hogan reign. For the majority of the WWE universe aged 30 and under, this is because 30 now, you mean born 1993, right? Yeah. So you can even go 35 and under.
I'm 32, and this is the Hogan reign.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But you didn't see it. You didn't see it live, and like you didn't see it, so you weren't there from that standpoint. So it's different for me because I feel like you can't. I don't think the backlash that Slayer is saying from beating Hogan's reign, for one, it's Hogan.
Yeah,
you know that's it's that, but it's also it's just different.
It's that last part of his comment. He might have just get off my screen heel heat. Mm-hmm. And that's what you want to avoid. Like, it's great. The heat that Roman has when he comes out now, it's a Cena heat, right? Certain people love to see Roman come out. They want to throw up their ones and acknowledge their tribal chief, right? But then there's a vast majority of people that are like, nah, get away, right? We don't want you here. We don't want the title. Go away. You go past, realistically, you go past Royal Rumble with Roman still as champion and no contender in sight. That's the other problem. We don't have a contender for Roman's title right now.
That's where I think LA comes. They're doing it with AJ.
But hold on. Look.
Go ahead.
You go past the Rumble, nobody's going to want to see Roman at all. Because all that means is, all right, Roman's going to come out. He's going to beat our guy. Mm-hmm. Roman's going to come out. He's going to beat our guy.
There's no the like you said, the chances or the belief or the hope in him dropping it is not there. And the other reason why the Hogan reign is a little bit different, you kind of spoke to this, is the fact that in that time there was no social. There was not. They were doing house shows. They had 4 pay-per-views a year. Had a couple Saturday night main events. And I believe at that time, like it just you didn't see Hogan as much on TV. There was no weekly programming, was none of that. So you can get away with doing that 3-year reign. Fuck, Backlund reign was like 2.5. You see what I'm saying? His second reign was like 2.5 years before he dropped the sheet. So it's like it's different from that standpoint of because you had people who get hot. Right, LA Knight right now is hot, but Trips being unlike the other person who runs the other promotion, Trips is someone who's been around and he lived those reigns. He lived that era, right? So it means more for longer reigns. But no pun intended. At some point, it has to stop. It has to stop, right? And I'm worried now. I feel like, how can I say this, right? I'm more worried about Jay's long-term future than I am Jimmy. You see what I'm saying? Yes, I'm 22, the longest reign I've ever seen my wrestling watch in a lifetime. I'm all for a long title reign, which the title defenses matter.
This man wins for comment of the night.
It does. Yeah. No lie. So, but like even now, when you start to veer off, right? When you have the Roman superstar tree, as you want to say, right? I think Jimmy's in a better position so far than what Jay is, because Jimmy can still kind of somewhat rely on Heyman, rely on Solo, where Jay's still finding his footing, right?
Yeah,
so we'll see about that.
But I don't think Jimmy's in a better position because
short term. I'm not saying long term.
Somebody like me could very easily turn around and be like, all you're doing is still hiding in the shadows. Jay is out on his own. And so far, I don't hate it. No. I don't hate what Jay's doing.
I hate Jimmy's music and the fact that he called this your Titantron says Jimmy, but then when you get in the ring with Cena, you said they didn't come here to see you. They came here to see me, Jim Uso. What the fuck is that?
Yeah. I hoping nobody would bring that up. But and Jay has, like, just when Jay goes out to his music and has everybody, bouncing up and down with the beat of the music and everything, he's got it. His promos need work, but he's got it.
Yeah, right? He definitely has emotion in the promo, but he needs work.
So, all right, we're past the hour mark. Normally we don't go past an hour, but screw it. I want to transition into This Week in Wrestling. I know Butters has some stuff he wants to bring up. So This Week in Wrestling is brought to you by our friends at Specialized Physical Therapy. Specialized Physical Therapy, Dr. Paul Vidal and his team. He's our doc, making yours. 2 locations, Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Butters, lay it on me. What do you got? He said he had something where he wanted to get my reaction. I have no idea. And this is usually how This Week in Wrestling works. I have no idea what he's going to bring up.
Let's bring this back my way, son.
Oh, hell.
No, just so they can hear me better.
No, I'm just so scared of what you have.
So Impact's 1000th episode, they've taped them, they've come up with them. They split it into 2 episodes because it's such a big episode.
And it's not the 1000th episode. It's 1,000 and 1,001. Fuck you.
It's 1,000.1. No.
Continue.
So Feast or Fired has been brought back.
Which, all right, stop right there. Huh. I loved Feast or Fired.
Oh,
I've seen the results. I haven't watched it, but I've seen the results of what happened.
It was campy. I loved it. I don't know what's happened at this one. I'm so scared. What do you got?
So they've revamped the rules just a little bit.
Huh?
So they put it on scaffolds, in each 4 corners of the post.
Right.
Climb, pull the briefcase down.
Because, why would we do a ladder match? But whatever.
Not only do you have to, everybody's outside the ring trying to get in the ring.
Dumb as shit. Continue.
You have to get up, grab the briefcase, get it off the hook, get down in the ring, and then you have to plant both feet outside of the ring in order to claim the briefcase. So
I want whatever they've got in the writer's room in there. I want it.
So you have to make it out the ring with that briefcase.
Okay. So Legends of the Hidden Temple, got it.
So Crazy Steve has one of these belts. Or he was able to claim one of the briefcases.
Uh-huh.
In order to, because Moose and Brian Myers were ready to, try to take it from him, he decides to reach into his boot and pull out a fork. Stab Brian Myers. Moose said, fuck this shit. Go ahead.
Wait. So, Brian Myers, okay, fine. You got stabbed with the fork. You move on with your life. Steve's nuts. We get it. Moose, you a big son bitch. It's a fork. I don't care. It's a fork, my dude. Like, just shake it off. Did you not
see what John Moxley can do with a fork?
While case in point, Moxley has other issues. But Jesus Christ. Okay. Continue.
But, all the other briefcases, the last briefcase was kind of thrown out the ring in a sense and caught by Moose.
Okay.
Yeah.
The biggest guy in the match.
Yeah.
And we don't know what's in the cases yet, correct?
No, it's just a title, a shot at 3 titles and a fire.
Okay. So, sometimes I forget that Impact is still around. Not gonna lie. I love the fact that you are like the only person on the platform. that watches it so you can bring the stupidity. The only thing, and I'm just going to leave it at this, is the beautiful people are back. Shut up.
You got to be beautiful to be beautiful people.
Shut up.
And they're still dead sexy as ever.
About as flat as his palm, bitch.
Anyway, moving on because I'm so scared for our chat now. we opened that Pandora's box. I still have PTSD from Royal Rumble a few years ago.
Oh, Royal Rumble 02.
02?
Yeah, it was 02.
No, it was when we did the women's Royal Rumble.
2022.
Uh-huh.
Oh, so I went back 10 years. He went back 20.
So I mean, the beautiful people have been around since 02 and Impact. It feels like
that. Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I've been watching Impact since Impact practically began. Okay, like.
So, does anybody else have anything for this week in wrestling?
Yes.
Oh, you have more.
I mean, NXT.
Ask and you shall receive.
I was gonna get there.
Oh, I thought that's what you were talking about.
No, well, anything other than that.
No, nothing real crazy. I mean, other than
anything I'm gonna care about.
I mean, Britt Baker challenging for the TBS.
Yeah, don't care. Yeah, don't care. Don't care. All right, so it's so funny, and I was telling this story at karaoke Tuesday night. If you go back to Fandemonium, I don't remember if it was the grand finals or if it was the semifinals the week before, but we had a question talking about this moment, and it was as of this episode. I don't remember how it was worded, but this woman has not won. This member of the Four Horsewomen has not won the NXT championship and is not a Grand Slam champion. And it was Becky Lynch. And then Tuesday night, Becky took down Tiffany Stratton and won the NXT Women's Championship. Pete, you still with us?
Yep.
Okay. It got really dark over there, and it looked like you froze.
Oh, I'm still here. Yeah,
Okay.
It's just my other screen. That's all.
Got it.
I had something on it, and I took it away.
Okay.
Oh, he had something on it.
Uh-huh. So, first of all, big shout out to Becky for winning.
I didn't watch. How was the match? I didn't watch NXT.
Tiffany looked incredible from a ring work perspective. I know what, as soon as I said
That's another one.
But that's not what I meant. Her ring work was fantastic in that match. She kept up with Becky. Becky didn't have to wrestle down, right? And she told such a great story throughout the whole thing. That girl's going places when it comes to a future star in the industry.
That's the doorway for Mandy to come back, I believe.
She just started an OnlyFans. She ain't coming back.
Man, listen, man. Money talk, bro.
She ain't coming back.
Listen, I'm pretty sure some UFC fighters that got OnlyFans.
Yeah, but that's UFC. That's not WWE.
Technically, they're both the one in the same.
Now they are, so it could change.
Get it right, bitch.
I'm very interested. First of all, go fuck yourself. I'm very interested with this merger now. At how we see a shift in some WWE content, if we do see a shift, or if they still kind of stay to this PG-13.
It's hard to do that when your partner company is legit.
Is sticking chopsticks in people's foreheads?
No, not that. I'm not talking about as far as from sports entertainment and AEW. I'm talking about from UFC. Like, on one side of the coin, you have UFC where they legit fight. Like it's a true combat sport, mixed martial arts. So now, because you want to be more in line with that, now you can't go too crazy, but you can become more risque. And they even did it tonight on SmackDown because remember, Rock said, "I'm gonna beat your bitch ass up." Then he had everybody screaming asshole. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like,
which by the way, I'm pretty sure The Rock was a little drunk because
McAfee was high.
Because if you go back and watch the end, if you go back and watch the ending of the McAfee interview, within about a 15-minute span, they kill a whole bottle of his tequila.
Yeah, no.
And he said, "Don't worry, there's more tequila."
Yeah, but see, so you had that. That's why, and I'll say this: Austin Theory needed that rub so bad. He needed that so bad. And I think him and Waller as a tag team, if it wasn't for Pretty Deadly, it would be fucking money.
Absolutely.
Fucking money.
All right, so running. I actually have something for you, Pete. This is directly solely at you.
Is this about last night's game?
Yes.
Oh God.
And the reason why it's about last night's game is you guys, Birds of a Feather, you are now on Tuesday nights, and you guys are spending your time previewing. No, you're recapping. Sorry. You're recapping.
We're doing both, I think, kind of.
Yeah, you're kind of doing both. But by the time the next Birds of a Feather comes on, you'll already have Monday Night Football. Right? Because isn't it Eagles, Tampa Bay, and Monday night?
The Eagles don't play again until not this Monday, the following Monday.
So it's the following. Okay, I misread that. It all fucks me up when they do this Thursday to Monday to Sunday to 12. Who cares? Either way. So I have a couple questions for you. And they make more sense when we're on the air. Eagles win Thursday night, 34-28.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, you were the closest. If you go back to the A2D score predictions, you were the closest. Eagles win week 1, 25-20.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's been within a touchdown so far.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles' defense seemingly collapsed in the second half. Not bad. They were still good, but they let that become a lot closer of a game than they should have been.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel given the fact that all these games are so close? They're coming down to the wire. They're within a touchdown.
Right now, I feel great because you're 2-0 and you have played C+ football. Because the inefficiency of the offense in both of those games is what made those games closer. So they have to get that side right. I mean, in the NFL, if you're giving up 20 and then 28 points to a team that put up the second most points in the league last year or something like that, Minnesota last year came back from a 33-0 down deficit and came back and won the game. So they can score points and they can score them in bunches. Even with a subpar offensive line, Kirk Cousins can really spin it. And with the injuries we have at the secondary position of linebacker, that also plays a part into it too. But the inefficiency of the offense is what leads to this. And I agree with that, Martian. That's this fan. You would think right now we're 0-2. But here's the thing. They set the bar so high from last year that I kind of get it, but people just need to be really smack. They really need to smack themselves and be like, all right, like, listen, this is, you got 15 more weeks. You got 15 more games, right?
Yep.
50, and right now, I asked if there's any Eagles fans in here. I know Martian is one, and I think he'll probably be more aligned. Do you want to blow somebody at 49 in week 1, right? And beat somebody, whatever San Fran did to Pittsburgh, right? You want to be hitting your stride, blowing your load in the first six games of the season. I ain't trying to do that. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'd rather win games tight like this with C+ football, with room for improvement, instead of blowing out a team on Sunday Night Football 40-0.
Well, and to go off of Lynch's comment here, I don't think we're the saltiest right now. I think we understand that we're playing C+ football. We're a better football.
We do. The majority of us who are Eagles fans do not.
But I would almost challenge that, right? I would almost, because even I know, right? I'm not the football expert.
I see a win as a win.
Shut the fuck up. I'm not the football expert, but even I can say you guys are better than this, right? Why are we making the mistakes that we're making? Why are we making the calls that we're making? It's borderline like a season of Doctor Who, to make it a little nerdy, right? When a new doctor comes in, you hate him, right? You're angry, you're miserable. This sucks. We're nitpicking. halfway through, oh, you know what? We're pretty good. We're pretty good. Towards the end, we're unfucking stoppable.
Right, and you forget how you. I mean, and I said this a lot too. Like, I don't think a lot of the fan base is giving credence to the fact of the defensive coordinators who you faced in the first 2 weeks. Bill Belichick, the hoodie, one of the greatest coaches of all time, one of the greatest defensive minds of all time.
People realize that he's been in the league for almost 50 years.
Exactly. People forget because he had Tom Brady and he won all those rings. He's a defensive-minded coach. And when the Giants won their Super Bowls in the 80s, he was the defensive coordinator. He unleashed Lawrence Taylor on the league and made offenses change how they played the game. So when you give this dude 6 months to prepare and all your film was on tape from your offense and you caught everybody off guard the year before because nobody has seen it, but now it's on tape and you give him time to prepare. Brian Flores, once again, is a protege who grew up and is coaching under Bill Belichick with the defensive coordinator. Listen, fam, it don't get any easier in now 10 days against the Buccaneers because you got Todd Bowles in Tampa Bay. Todd Bowles, suck-ass head coach, great defensive coordinator who loves to bring the blitz. And now defenses know if you blitz us up the middle, Jalen right now in his decision-making, he's still counting checks. He's still counting his money.
And somebody told me the other day, and I you would know this better than I would. The Eagles have one of the tougher schedules this season.
Mm-hmm. It's not going to get any easier. Not at all.
It's not. And I think it's good now to understand, one, it's not going to get any easier. Two, we're having to face defense after defense after defense. We're not facing offenses, right? You said it with Belichick. You said it with Ty Bowles.
And Flores.
And
that's who we played last night.
I'm sorry?
That's who we played. The defensive coordinator was Brian Flores.
Yes, Brian Flores. I blanked on his name. And you have a brand new defensive coordinator that's getting used to the Eagles system.
And offensive coordinator as well.
And offensive coordinator. You've got Nick Sirianni, who is the constant there, but everybody's still finding their groove. And it's different when you're under the, preseason's preseason, right? But when you're under the lights and it matters at this point, and you've got 2 back-to-back primetime games, that's got you coming off of a short week.
Do you know they only have 3 1:00 games this year?
Really?
14 of their games are considered prime time, either Sunday night, Monday night, or Sunday night late, Sunday 4:25 or 4:05, and then Monday Night Football. The two of the 1:00 games are next month against Washington.
That works for me because it's easier for me to watch the late games.
Right. So Washington is both of their games at 1:00. I forget the other 1:00 game. But here's the other thing too. So you mentioned the coordinators, right? I think Sean Desai, the new defensive coordinator, has a better footing of what he wants to do, but he has injuries at key positions, so he doesn't have the personnel to do it. Whereas Brian Johnson, the OC, has the personnel. He's just trying to find a way. But honestly, hand to God, Brian Johnson's had out of the first 2 weeks, Brian Johnson's had a hell of a job as far as like difficulty level versus what Sean Desai has had to deal with. Sean Desai last night had to worry about one person, Justin Jefferson, and that's it. Matt Jones wasn't scared of him. You know what I mean? It is what it is. The New England Patriots don't really have skill positions like that. But for Brian Johnson, it's an uphill battle, right? So,
well, who was the running back last night?
DeAndre Swift.
Yeah,
number 0.
He had an incredible evening last night, right? How and this is a touchy subject for certain individuals on your program. What's that going to do to the running back core now?
Well, I mean, I think it's his job to lose.
He also lost Gainwell?
Gainwell's out with a rib injury. He was getting a lot of the first team carries during the preseason, and he was slated to be the number 1 back. But if you look at their depth chart, they have all 4 running backs slated with first team, but nobody can give you what Swift did last night. Penny may be close, but his health, but the vision, the patience, the ability to adjust their speed, that's what it is. And really, this is the thing, Andy, right? This is what the defenses are doing to the Eagles offense is they're putting 5 to 6 in coverage, so you can't pass the ball, and they're willing to live with you running the ball up and down the field. So Jalen has to be patient. It's almost like It's almost like how Flair used to do in the 80s. Flair knew that you used to have to beat me 1, 2, 3 or make me submit. I'll gladly lose to you in a count out. I'll gladly lose to you the disqualification. I'm going to have to make you earn it. That's how defenses are approaching our offense right now. And here's the other thing. To be the man, you got to beat the man, right? Well, now they didn't win the Super Bowl. But in the NFC and really throughout the NFL, the Eagles are the talk of the league. Jalen Hurts may be the face of the league. It shows you in the schedule and the times that they have. They're circled on everybody's schedule. Everybody wants them to bring their best. So it's not outside this of the schedule, but everybody's going to get up for you. Everybody's going to want that. They're going to want that win against you.
Are on, what is it, week 11 when we go to Kansas City?
Yes.
The entire world will be watching that.
And even in that game, outside of Mahomes, I think the Eagles are the better team, the better roster, top to bottom. Outside of Mahomes and maybe Chris Jones and Travis Kelce, but outside of that, it's just like the Super Bowl. They're the test that they have that I am most interested in this early part of the season. I want to say it's October,
and that's a Monday Night Football game, by the way.
I want to say it's October 7th or 13th. It's a Sunday Night Football game against the Dolphins. And I don't know where that game is at.
Who?
The Eagles-Dolphins game.
That's a 22nd. That's in Philly.
It's a Sunday night. But that game, they have so much speed, it's going to cause a problem. That offense for our defense is going to cause a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, no, I'm right there with you. And I like taking the run-in to kind of bring a little football to it because this is our big time here at HED Radio during football season. A lot happens between Tuesday, especially if you get a Thursday night football game. For you, it'd be great. It's great for us to be on Friday. You can come in, give your thoughts on last night, everything of that nature. And then by the time you get around to Tuesday, you've got a little bit more to kind of stew and talk about and think about, right? Plus, it lets me kind of show that I have a little football knowledge, so I'll take that as a win.
You surprised me tonight. You know a little bit more than what I thought.
I watched the game last night.
At least Butters has on some paraphernalia from the Eagles. I don't know which. Looks like you have leopard print jailbird pajama pants on.
They're camo pants. In all fairness, all my Eagle stuff is in the wash.
Okay. Did you do it yourself?
I do all my laundry.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's just I'm doing it tonight because I got things to do this weekend. But because I bought it at DXL when I was home, because I was able to find stuff, but they didn't have a wide selection of things. So I only have 2 Eagles things and a hoodie, but I wasn't putting a hoodie on tonight. I'll save that for special occasions.
Yeah, hoodies and shorts is the young kids' uniform right now.
So does anybody else have anything for running?
Yes, I do. Wrestling related. AEW, what the fuck are you doing? Why did we go from 4 or 5 pay-per-views a year to now there's 76 of these bitches and they're $50 a fucking piece?
I'm telling you what, right now, I ain't ordering October 1st. First of all, the next time there's a pay-per-view, one of y'all bitches is ordering it.
Listen, bro.
I $100 over a week for lackluster bullshit. First of all, fuck you guys. Second of all, no.
I don't understand. Like, I don't understand it.
Like, okay, you want to do this thing, which is paying homage to Inoki.
Yep.
That's great. That's fantastic. Not a single person that watches your program gives a damn about Inoki.
Nope.
I have a lot of respect for the guy, right? But no one cares.
And that's like you used to be able to get away with it when you did Frighter Fest, shit like that, Bash at the Beach or Beach Bash, where the fuck you called it. Like, do Dynamite and that one thing, like you just about to have Grand Slam and Arthur Ashe, right? Dude, like that Wrestle Dream shit could have did that. Like, I don't understand where.
And because of how you dilute something like Grand Slam, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Like you're taking the old WCW idea of let's name our Saturday program something special, like Clash of the Champions 55, right? Or, whatever. Whereas you could I would watch a pay-per-view called Grand Slam.
Mm-hmm.
I'd watch a pay-per-view called Fyter Fest. Hell, I thought Fyter Fest was going to be a pay-per-view 3 years ago. Right? Like, I'm okay if you want to up your game with more pay-per-views. Fine. WWE did it for years and nobody bitched.
Right.
And those bitches were $60. But don't give me these special dynamites or these special, because then they're not special anymore. One, they're not special now because you don't do anything.
Nope.
Nothing is impactful.
Storytelling is all.
It's
and
all
one
over
story
the
we're
place.
all involved in, and that's Cole.
It's
Cole
another
MJF.
dynamite.
That's it.
Another dynamic collision, and it's not a special show like Rich is saying. All it is a fancy way to show you Collision with a new fucking name.
It is. It really is. And
hi, my name is
my name is blank.
Yeah.
So
give a blank name badge and tell them to fuck off.
I would be okay if they took those specials and made them pay-per-views. Trying to dedicate something to Inoki, that's a special dynamite.
Why can't they just give me 12 solid pay-per-views a year, one a month, and be done with? We don't need all these.
Because they don't have the storytelling to do that shit, or the cohesiveness to do that shit.
You've got 4 fucking shows, and you can't tell me. And you're telling me.
First of all, it's hard. If you did 12 pay-per-views now at $50 a pop, that's a hard sell. Especially when you can pay $6.99, and with WWE you get everything.
I was about to say they really need a platform to put all that on.
That's what I thought the deal with HBO Max, or Max as it's called now, is.
The smartest thing they could do, they go to Bleacher Report and they say, hey, let's do a package where it's like $200 for the year, and I get every AEW pay-per-view.
Or something, even if you just say $12.99 a month or $13.99 a month.
Yeah, or something like that. Right? But if you charge me a monthly fee, you better give me one a month, number one. Right? And number two, you better bring me more. Like,
and here's the thing, let's talk about this, right?
With my Peacock,
where's the ROH library at?
With my Peacock subscription, right? I get all the table for threes. I get all the documentaries, all the 24s, all that. They're not as frequent as they used to be.
They're still there.
But they're still there.
You're talking about even non-wrestling related. Imagine if they did all BTE shit. They can get the rights to that, all that. But like I said, like the ROH library, where's that? Where's the AEW library? Now you've been out for 3 years now. You think people don't want to go back and watch that whatever they called it with Lucha, the Lucha Brothers and Young Bucks in the steel cage? Don't want to relive that moment when Punk actually came out and he returned, or when Danielson premiered, or where Punk.
But the problem is, and this is where AEW digital media team is just dumb.
Yeah,
I can go Google that on YouTube and find it from their own YouTube page
for free
in its entirety. WWE may have like The Rock comes back to host WrestleMania 27, but it's got a thing at the bottom, like an overlay. At that time, it was the WWE Network, but you could go watch the full episode at WWE Network, right? They were pushing you to go spend money to watch their library, do whatever. They're not AEW's not doing that. What are they pushing me to do? Go buy a shit video game.
Yep. Is that what that Fight Forever is?
Yeah, the graphics look horrendous. I hear it's great. I hear it's fun to play, but it all looks horrendous. So I'm sticking with that. All right, we're out of time. I want to cut this off. We want to thank all our sponsors, including Hats.com. In 2018, Eagles legend Brian Dawkins was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. To commemorate this moment, B-Doc designed and launched an exclusive collaboration with Bowman Hat Company, America's oldest hat maker on hats.com. Brian's love for hats and the Eagles were on proud display in Canton. And now you can find yourself in that same iconic Hall of Fame fedora. Just go to hats.com and search Brian Dawkins and use the code Philly for 15% off your order. We want to thank Specialized Physical Therapy for sponsoring part of tonight's show as well. Specialized Physical Therapy, Dr. Paul Vidal and his team. 2 locations, Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. He's our doc. Make him yours. That's Dr. Paul Vidal. We also want to thank Royal Billiards. Check out Royal Billiards and Recreation, the coolest place for all your game room and man cave needs. For the last 41 years, this family-owned business has been the premier game room store of the Delaware Valley. Stocked with the very best in pool tables, accessories, shuffleboards, card tables, dart supplies, bar and bar stools. Turn any ordinary room into an extraordinary gaming experience. Did we mention they have hot tubs too? Stop by Royal Billiard, located at 515 Bethlehem Pike in Colmar, Pennsylvania, or on the web at royalbilliard.com for everything fun for your home or office. And we want to thank Alonzi Travel. Alonzi Travel specializes in creating the vacation of your dreams at Disney, Universal, or wherever your heart calls you. Let their talented team of travel experts, including yours truly, create a custom vacation for you without any of the stress. Alonzi on over to alonzi-travel.com/take the trip to get in touch with myself or Pete's co-host on Birds of a Feather, Chucks. We can start planning your next stress-free vacation as early as tonight. For Pete Evans, Butters, I'm Ritz. Make sure you guys catch all the programming every single day here on ATD Radio. We will see you guys next time. Peace, love, and joy. We're out.